having coffee with my friend at the hospital cafeteria on her break when her coworker asked me, "How are you so calm about the sandwich thing? If the surgeon left part of his lunch inside me during surgery, I'd be freaking out." My coffee cup froze halfway to my lips. "What sandwich thing?" He pulled out his phone and started scrolling through medical imaging files while I sat there trying to process what I just heard. "The turkey club that got stitched up inside you during your kidney transplant last year? You're so chill about having actual food decomposing in your abdomen right here in your scan from November." He turned the screen towards me and pointed at a ghostly white mass in what was definitely my torso, with my name clearly visible at the top. "They've been monitoring it for the past year to make sure it doesn't cause sepsis, but honestly I'm shocked you agreed to keep it instead of getting removal surgery." My hand started shaking so violently that coffee sloshed over the rim and burned my fingers, but I barely felt it. I didn't agree to anything. Nobody ever told me there was a sandwich inside my body. He went pale as understanding dawned on his face. "You seriously didn't know about this?" I stood up so fast my chair screeched against the linoleum. "Page my surgeon right now and tell him to get down here immediately." While my friend fumbled with the hospital phone, I grabbed his phone and stared at my medical records showing dozens of case notes about foreign body retention and organic matter monitoring, and patient opted against disclosure, which made absolutely no sense. The surgical report from last year had an addendum filed 2 hours after my procedure that read, "Turkey club sandwich fragment approximately 2 by 3 inches accidentally incorporated into abdominal cavity during closure due to contamination of surgical field when surgeon's lunch fell from pocket." My stomach churned violently when my surgeon appeared in the doorway looking annoyed until he saw me and suddenly started backing away like I was holding a weapon. "We should discuss this in my office privately," he said in a voice barely above a whisper. "You stitched your lunch inside my body and never told me?" I said loud enough that every conversation in the cafeteria stopped. He actually laughed nervously and said, "Technically it was only half my lunch since I ate the other half before surgery." The entire cafeteria went dead silent and someone dropped their tray in shock. "Are you seriously making jokes about this right now?" He started pacing frantically and loosening his tie like he couldn't breathe. "Look, it's not that big of a deal. Turkey is basically protein, and protein is good for healing. So really I was helping your recovery." My friend's coworker pulled up email threads on his tablet, and I saw one where the surgeon had written, "The stomach acid should break it down, naturally over time, just like if she had actually eaten it, except it's on the outside of the stomach, but the principle is the same." I read that line out loud, and someone in the corner actually started dry heaving. "You thought my stomach acid would work through my abdominal wall?" He threw his hands up defensively. "Well, when you say it like that, it sounds bad, but the lettuce was organic." The security guard by the door looked like he didn't know whether to laugh or call for backup. More members of his surgical team started appearing, and one nurse immediately turned around and tried to leave, but I called out, "You all knew about this?" Their guilty silence was deafening until the surgeon suddenly blurted out, "It was a really good sandwich, okay? My wife makes them special with this aioli that's to die for." Someone in the crowd shouted, "Your patient did almost die for it," and nervous laughter rippled through the room. The surgeon spun around wildly looking for support. "Can everyone please stop acting like I committed a crime when technically she got free food?" My jaw dropped at the absolute audacity. "Free food? I paid $40,000 for that surgery because my damn insurance thought me having functioning kidneys was elective." He pointed at me triumphantly. "Exactly. So the sandwich was complimentary like a hotel mint on your pillow, except inside your internal organs." The head of surgery suddenly appeared and grabbed the tablet showing the emails, and her face went from red to purple to a color I didn't know humans could turn. "You contaminated the surgical field with food and then closed the patient without informing anyone?" The surgeon straightened his coat and said with bizarre confidence, "I prefer to call it an organic surgical implant." She stared at him in complete disbelief. "It's a sandwich." He crossed his arms defensively. "It's only a sandwich if it's still between bread, and technically once I stitched it up it became more of a meat pocket." She turned to me with profound apology in her eyes. "We're scheduling immediate removal surgery and our legal department will be contacting you within the hour." Then she turned back to him with pure venom. "You're suspended effective immediately and I'm reporting this to the medical board today."